I chased my way to the finish line, and I'm going to talk about that on this segment of the All right, my first delivery opportunity of the day is a last mile opportunity that is paying me $60.19. It's a hot water heater, 147 pounds, and it's going to a residence. Just a few moments ago, I also accepted a GrubHub from a Subway, and it is paying $10.99. So within an hour, I'm going to be starting out okay, at least towards the minimum goal that I want to set today, and that is at least $200. Again, the $200 is going to get me to 10 G's for the month in total revenue earned, and that was a number that I certainly did not expect to get to. In fact, I've documented on a few segments of the Gig Geezer about that, where I thought 9,000 were realistic, and 10,000 would be more of a celebration. However, if anybody knows me, celebrations don't really occur for me when I've expected more out of myself. So I am a couple of streets away from dropping off this hot water heater. And again, now for those who think that I should be documenting exactly the work done, I have just one video source, and so it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard holding a hand truck and trying to push something that's 140 pounds. But what we're going to do is back up into these people's driveway. I can tell you that now. Back all the way up to the garage and put the hot water heater in the garage and keep it moving. All right, that's done. What was interesting, as I kind of documented, the garage door was already open, so he was kind of looking for somebody to show up with a hot water heater. We got to talking, and he works at Federal Express, and I may have missed out on on a cash opportunity, but then again, that's on me. Now, I can only get mad at myself because I've not done everything that I could or can to develop my cash game. I've talked about it in recent weeks and months in segments of the Gig Geezer. I am doing things to build up the cash game. I am doing things. It's just a matter of time. And unfortunately for me, a lot of this is on me. I mean, I have reached out to my queen and my daughter to help me out with certain facets of getting things done, and it's on me. I have to find the time. I have to make the time to put in the behind the scenes effort to getting the word out there about my developing my cash game. I've not mentioned exactly what it is though, but I've had a few opportunities in 2023. I'm looking to develop more of that in 2024. By the way, Raymond Picard Jr., I'm throwing another shout out to Raymond because he is the second vice president of the Gig Geezer crew. He's already saying 150,000 revenue earned in gross revenue for 2024 for the Gig Geezer. Let's just say that is a number that I have in mind. That is a number that I have in mind. It's just going to be a matter of me making it happen, and part of that is going to be how I develop the cash game. It's that simple. You know, you can't get there unless you have certain things in place. And I can do this, but is this going to get me where I want to be? Can I just do it on gig apps? No. I don't think so. Can I do it strictly on brokered opportunities? Possibly, but I don't think so. I think you have to have a lot of things in place in order to get where you want to be. It's a matter of diversifying your business, because when you diversify your business, you give yourself multiple streams of opportunities. You also give yourself a chance to stay in business longer because you have multiple streams of opportunity. Case in point, I've mentioned in the state of South Carolina, when the economic slowdowns have occurred in recent memory, the Greenville-Spartanburg side of the state has fared better than other sides of the state because of the diversity of its economy. It helps having the European investment there, and so they have fared better. I would venture to say that the cost of living is proportionately better on that side of the state. There's also been a greater influx of population there, but that said, there's also been another factor that you can use as a gauge of things in comparison to other parts of the state is unemployment has been relatively lowest on that side of the state than any other part of the state because of the diversity of its economy. And so that's the way I want to develop my delivery and transport operation. That's the way I see things, and that's the way I want to go about doing things. How I get there, again, that's on me. So now we're like right down the street from the subway. I think I may have overran it, but we're right down the street from Subway, and we're gonna pick up this order. Yep, I just overran it. Damn it. So we're just right down the street. Like I said, I overran the where it's at because I don't always do a lot of pickups in this part of town. It's a part of town that I try to minimize my exposure. Now, one of the things that I will say before I kind of cut away to pick up this order is that what you try to do is work the sides of town, parts of your town or parts of your market that is more profitable than others. That's a nice way of saying things. You want to work a part of town that is more profitable than others, and that means knowing your market. You can only learn that by experience. The other thing is knowing your market geographically, as I've said many a times, so that from the standpoint, you got to know where you're going in order to make your money. Because when you work multiple apps, as I do, if you don't know where you're going, that can put you one step away from being deactivated because you've taken too long to deliver their orders. All right, so picked up the GrubHub order, and probably about 5 minutes away from the drop-off location. I want to do an addendum to this segment of the Gig Geezer, in which I talked about essentials for the ownership and operation of your sprinter/cargo van. This roll of moving tape. That is something that you should have. Why you should have moving tape? Well, you may be in a situation where you have gotten a box and it's on its last leg, and there's no other box, or it's a box that you pick up and it's on its last leg, and it looks like the contents of the box may plop out. And so what you're doing is really some good customer service more than anything else by being able to strengthen the box with the moving tape. Now, I first had those experiences mainly with the Federal Express Personal Vehicle Program, starting in 2020, and there were times where we had to tape up the boxes because they were beaten up in the transporting of them to the to the distribution place, to the warehouse. Now, the other thing, as you see here on the inset, is that battery charger slash, it's a multi-purpose tool, but it's a battery charger and air pump, among other things. And that is something that I have advocated for the queen of my life. She has one in her vehicle, and my daughter has battery cables. That's another thing that you should have, is battery cables, and which I have also here in my blue bin. But my daughter has battery cables, but my queen has the battery charger slash air pump. So those are a couple of things that you should also have that are essentials for the ownership and operation of your Sprinter slash cargo van. But I also want to give credit where credit is due. There was a comment that was made on this video in which the viewer mentioned this to me, and I replied, "Thanks for reminding me," because I actually forgot all about those two items. So we're right down the street from this station. It's a place that I have dropped off before. You'd be surprised the number of times that you actually complete deliveries to people in your market, and this is yet another example. Actually, I am a few hours in on this grind for today, and now I am parked outside of Kroger to do an Instacart. But to bring you up to date, there was the first two opportunities that I did. That last mile that paid $60.19, and then a GrubHub that paid $10.99. And then after that, I managed to stack a UberEats shop and pay that would offered $16.02, and a DoorDash that ultimately paid $17.07. Now I went and picked up the DoorDash first, and then came back and did the UberEats shop and pay. Some people may wonder, why would I do something like that? If anybody goes back to many of my earlier segments of the Gig Geezer prior to my getting this Sprinter slash cargo van, I was a big advocate of stacking multiple orders across multiple apps. In fact, even as I've done the Sprinter slash cargo van, I have stacked multiple opportunities across multiple platforms. So I'm always about maximizing my money. So the reason why I ended up completing the reason why I went ahead on with the Uber Eats is because there were only 6 items. Unfortunately, one of the gambles when you are dealing with multiple orders across multiple apps is that there's always the unexpected. And the unexpected for me was this customer who, first of all, had requested some type of candle that they didn't have. It was something that was seasonal. And so I get to the register, and then he starts asking, well, how about this one? I'm like, they don't have it. They're out of this. I've already checked the inventory. They're out of it. Well, how about this one? So I'm at the register, and I'm going through the scan with the first 2 or 3 items. So now I got to go back over to the section where these other candles are. I said, the one that he requested, I said, this is the closest that we have. Well, then how about this one? And they happen to have that one. Ooh, perfect. Yeah, that, if you can imagine, probably how I reacted to that. But so I rushed back over to the register and completed checking things out. And so dropped off the DoorDash, which again ultimately paid $17.07, and then get to this guy's at a hotel. Well, he puts in the wrong address. It is the hotel that I go to. Yes, there's a room 305, but it's a room 305 that's being renovated. So I'm like, hey, what hotel you're at? And it's the one that's across the street from the address that he put in the app. Yes, that type of a person. If this were Instacart, that person would have been fired in my book. I would have blocked the person. So now I'm going inside here to Kroger. This should be a quick opportunity. And here's the thing that I've not talked a lot about, but there's this saying about not all money is good money. And I passed on a UberEats opportunity that was offered $19.40, going about 14 miles, but it's going to a part of the Columbia area that I've delivered to many a times, but it's going to take me way out of the way of other things. And if that was like the last one that I was going to do for the day, I'd have no problem with attempting to stack it. But since it's, we're about midday now, we're in the middle of the day, that would not have been a good opportunity. Me doing this one, 15 items, $15, the drop-off location is 1 mile away. That keeps me in proximate to what's going on. And so I'll get back with you with the order. Again, I am guilty of not showing the entire process because I have one video source, and it's kind of awkward trying to do all that at one time. And besides, when you're doing Instacart, you really can't do that. If you just got your phone and all, you can do it, but then again, you got to go back and forth back into the app and then get back into your camera. No, I just rather get the shopping done and get on out and go and try to move on to something else. All right, that stacked opportunity is done. The Instacart paid a little more than what I thought. It paid $15.44, so the actual amount before the refunds was just a tick over $16. Nothing to jump up and down about. And the DoorDash paid $14.50, and it went to the 9th floor. of the campus. I'm not a big fan of dropping off at the hospitals, even when it's a catering order opportunity. But usually, now it depends on where you have to go, and with the catering opportunities, the one thing that I've noticed with the majority of them, they don't tip. They don't tip worth a damn, and because they don't tip worth a damn for what they order, I tend to shy away from them. I mean, when you're talking about ordering $1,000 worth of food, and you're talking about $1,000 worth of food, and it's paying only $40. That's not worth my time and effort. Not at all. I mean, I get where some people may come from with their argument. That's $40, but that's thirst money, especially when you're used to certain dollar amounts, and you know that you can make certain dollar amounts. $1,000 catering opportunity should pay at a minimum $75, more like $85, $90 at a minimum, but $75 is the bare minimum for $1,000. I'm looking for 3 digits on that type of a dollar amount. But that said, so we're at $1.48 and change right now. This is my total right now for the week, and this is my total for the day. Nothing to jump up and down about. Last week, I just posted on my community page how a nice paying last mile opportunity is what got me across the finish line and beyond, in which I earned over $2,200. This week has been completely different, and I am aware that, hey, what I'm dealing with is what a lot of people are dealing with in many markets. Now, for those of you who have caught some flyers and some really good opportunities, good for you. I'm not mad at you at one bit. But for many of us, it's been 3 yards in a cloud of dust, something that I've often described. It's been challenging. It's been a brawl. It's been some mentally tough days. And a lot of this really just tests your desire, your will to, unfortunately, with what we do with a lot of gig apps, we're chasing money, especially when you don't have certain things set up. Again, what I've talked about a lot is my setting up, working on the cash game, and I'm getting there. I've had some opportunities here and there, but nothing where I am now in demand. That's the thing. What you want to be is in demand when you got the cash game going on. The very thing that I saw back in the summer has come back to bite me in the ass to a greater extent because I had not gotten things in place. Again, that's on me. That's on me. But that's going to change in 2024. That is one thing that if there's a goal that I am setting for myself, it is to establish the cash game to where I am in demand. There are some other personal goals that I have set for myself, but that is the main thing from a business standpoint, where the cash game is in play. It is actually in play, and I am in demand for opportunities, because I really believe that if I had some cash game opportunities going on this week, we'd be talking a different story. Probably have made twice what I've made this week. Again, if this were my working out of F-150, this would be somewhat of a lower end of an average week, and I probably wouldn't be. I'd probably say that I'd be okay with it. I wouldn't lose any sleep over it. I wouldn't be mad at the production. But when you get used to certain things, you expect more out of yourself. I mean, the brokered opportunities, the load boards, the spot market has been just rigor mortis this past week, and for that part, most of this month. I noticed where there was another content creator who said he was out 26 days during the month of December. He booked only 9 loads. Well, I wasn't out away from home for 26 days though, but I was out for at least 26. I was out here at least 26 days this month, and I booked 4 loads and earned $950. The least amount that I've earned since my authority. I want to say that that's the least amount that I've earned when I've had an active pursuit of brokered opportunities. That's the least amount. I mean, March, I had that one opportunity at the end of March because my authority had reached a point where I was able to be onboarded with one broker. And then April, it was like one here. And then in May, it was one here and there. And then June is when it kind of started taking off. So it is what it is. I've talked about is what it is a couple of times in past segments of the Gig Geezer. So I'll get back with you. All right, another update. This is a UberEats order that's showing an amount for $24.13. This, along with a DoorDash, one of my lowest orders that I've accepted in quite a while, for $10.75, has brought me now to about $1.83 and change for the day, and it's got me to within $20 of the goal of $200, obviously, for today, but also hitting $10,000 for the month. I mean, we're talking about literally chasing money for $10,000, and that's where I'm at. Of course, you see there that person going to try to jump the gun. Left-hand turn is supposed to yield to any and all coming traffic, and that's in any state, but obviously some people just don't do that. So it's been that type of day. It's been that type of week for me. It's been that type of month for me. But I guess I'm one of those who are determined to do what I can, however way I can, to get where I would need to be each day, each week, each month. One other thing I want to share before I go into this main discussion is that this subdivision was one that was put in about 2018 and 2019. It is actually one that I recall when you work gig apps, a lot of times what happens is that you just the actual address does not show up. In fact, we're here at the location. The actual address does not show up, and sometimes you had to call the customer or the recipient. And then eventually it starts showing up on Google Maps and all the others. And that's the case with this particular subdivision. I want to show that I'm about to pick up an order from a place called Juicy Crab. Used to be Orion's. In fact, this entire area here was all trees at one time about 30 years ago. In fact, Sam's did not exist. Walmart did not exist. In fact, Walmart was across the street in a smaller plaza. But that said, this order should get me over $200 for the day and also over $10,000 for the month. All right, so we're about to park here at Juicy Crab, but This order should get me over $200 for the day and also $10,000 for the month. And the main thing about this particular order for the month, all but $950 was earned either through gig food apps, last mile gig apps, and or cash opportunities. The cash game is still lacking, but the other money is accounted for with insurance agent money. But the reason why I'm counting it towards the 10,000 in this particular case towards the business enterprise is because that money was actually earned in this seat, in this office seat, as I would say. That money was earned back during the summer, but I didn't see the money paid until this month, so it counted as money earned this month. So there's no fidangling of the dollars or anything like that. It's just that it didn't show up. The account receivable did not show up until this month, so it counted as this month's income. What more can I say? I mentioned earlier in the month that if I did 8, that would be pretty good. That would be a win. This month was a win. You can sum it up. You can sum it up in the in this segment's title about chasing money for the win. But the main thing is that you have to do what you have to do. I don't knock anyone's grind or hustle. I will knock them for being thirsty. I will knock them for using thirst mobiles. I will knock them for a few other things, but I will not knock a person for getting out here and trying to make it work. And if you like the content that's been provided in this segment of the Gig Geezer and any other segment of the Gig Geezer, hit that subscribe button. Give my content a thumbs up. Share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. I'm Inwood Lane as always. May your grind and may your hustle continue.